I've been working on something. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Batman. I expect you to podcast.
Yeah.
That's good. No,
Not bad?
that is-
Okay.
I love a good bad Bane impression.
I used to host trivia, and like right at the pinnacle of the popularity of Dark Knight, I hosted one whole
Yes.
trivia night in the voice of Bane. And I'll tell you what, by 10 minutes in, people were pretty annoyed with me.
Yeah, I believe it.
It was not great. It was not one of the better ideas I've ever had.
Is it not one of those jokes that starts funny, then goes bad, and then becomes funny again?
I think it got funny. At least it got funny again for me.
Okay.
I don't know if it got funny for anybody else. I'm pretty sure I got beat up in the parking lot.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
But you know what? I probably deserved it, so I can't really complain.
Welcome to Small Town Film Ghosts, podcasting out of Tin Pan Theater in Bend, Oregon.
It's true.
My name is Todd Leiser.
I'm Jared Rasek.
And this is the podcast where we talk about movies that are playing at Tin Pan Theater or through Tin Pan Theater, and trying to keep movies alive during this, weird period.
It's a weird period, yeah. The magnificent Julie Furnace is not with us today.
Yes, it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
But we hope that we can still do a good job and make her proud.
Yeah, we hope to make you guys proud too.
Yeah, I mean, if people are still listening, we thank you.
Like, we're proud of you for still listening.
So today we're going to be talking about. We're talking about how we are actually opening the theater back up.
We are,
I can't
yeah.
believe I'm saying it out loud. We're going to open the theater this Friday because I think we're going to try and get this episode to drop on Wednesday, the 31st. So this Friday, April 2nd,
Yeah.
we're going to reopen the theater back up, and we're starting with the Oscar-nominated short films. I think these shorts are opening up basically in any theater that's going to play them this Friday. I think this is a pretty wide release.
It's opening super. Like, it's the widest release since
it's
for a long time.
Yeah. And these, even in normal years, these movies always play in indie theaters like us. They don't really play in big multiplexes. So in a way, this is kind of the biggest wide release for indie theaters across the country.
Yeah. I read the other day that it's for Magnolia. It's like their biggest moneymaker for that production company every year.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
As I am very familiar with our audience, and as a patron of many indie theaters in the past, when the Oscar-nominated short films come out every year, it's always something people kind of flock to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Like people really make an effort to do that. So if you're listening and it's something that you look forward to every year, we do hope that you're going to make an effort to come in person. If you still do not feel safe to come in person, we are also still playing them on the virtual theater at tinpantheater.com. It's gonna be playing like all the other movies that we've been hosting.
Yeah. But this will be our first movie that's playing in the theater and virtually at the same time.
Yeah. And we got, and again, like every year, we've got the three programs. So there's the live action shorts, the animation shorts, and the documentary shorts.
Yeah.
One thing I will say for our audience, if ever you're sometimes put off by knowing that you're gonna have to watch a lot of stuff in succession and wondering how long it is, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Each program is no longer than 2 hours this time.
That's great.
They are.
Yeah.
There are some years where the documentaries go real long. And
really
it's 3 hours long.
Yeah, 3 hours. Totally.
Also, not only is the length, I think, manageable, this is also a year where, at least in the live action shorts and the animation, are not heavy or not too heavy.
Yeah,
they're actually fun to watch.
I feel like that was probably a purposeful choice by the Academy.
Yeah.
Nobody's really in the mood for super heavy right now, I would say.
Because I think something we're going to do here in a second is kind of go through the last couple of years and just sort of our memories of some of the shorts. But I think over the last couple of years we've had a few real heavy ones that have been kind of hard to sit through.
Very hard to sit through.
But yeah. So again, we got three programs, and we're going to be playing them this coming week at Tin Pan. Because we have so much going on this week, because this is a big week for us as we get ready for this, I have not looked at exactly what the schedule is going to be like.
No.
So I can't say on mic what it is. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if you go to tinpantheater.com, you can find it and you can see what our schedule is for the movies this weekend.
Right.
Yeah, Jared, you want to should we talk about the last couple of years of shorts and sort of ones that we remember?
Yeah, definitely. That would be great.
Because I mean, like, I think one of the ways that people usually watch these movies is in the context of you want to go in and think about what you think is going to win, or what. I mean, at least that's usually the perspective I have every time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always fun because you have to think about like the politics of it, like what. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but like there's always the what will win versus what should win.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, that's usually 2 different movies. But sometimes, every once in a while, you get a movie so damn good that it's both.
Yeah,
you know?
every now and then there's a year where you're like, I really like that one, and I think it should win, and I think it will win.
Yeah, I love that feeling. Like I was obsessed with 3 Billboards, and I thought for sure that would win Best Picture, and I was like, good, it will win and it should win, and then it didn't win.
Yeah.
And I was so sure it would.
But I will say, I think in the context of watching shorts, I will say more than any other, like, obviously I enjoy Oscar season and award season because I'm following what movies are getting the awards or getting the nominations, so I try to go out and see them as much as I can. And I'm definitely in the back of my mind like thinking about like what's going to win and what is. But
right,
I think even with the big movies, there's still an extent of like I'm just enjoying them to enjoy them. But I feel like when I watch the shorts, I'm much more like thinking about specifically like I'm like, especially because you're watching them all together as a one program.
Yeah,
you're like even more thinking about like you're competing them against.
You have to watching them as one program. Yeah. It's like almost impossible not to. Yeah.
One thing I was even thinking about today too, and I don't know if this actually holds true, but I had a moment when I was watching the program and thinking, I wonder if they ordered these in like, or actually I'm sure they have to consider this of like the way that they order the films in the program, wondering if that will like influence people's thoughts on what was better or not.
Yeah.
Because like if you got a sense that like each movie got better and better and better, then like by the last one you'd be like, that's obviously the right choice.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder how difficult that is to kind of curate the order.
Yeah, because I'm sure as the programmer of those shorts, you don't want to make it seem like you're like favoring one over another by the ordering.
Right. Well, like in particular, we won't get into it too much right now, but in the animated shorts for this year, the very first one is like the big budget Pixar one, Disney one, and so you're like, oh wow, this is awesome. And then in a way, it's
then you get the more experimental one.
And then it kind of circles back around to crowd pleasing, and I don't know, it was well ordered.
Yeah.
I thought.
I feel like I get that sense of every year. Like I have a memory of usually the first one in the animation program each year is usually the Disney or Pixar one.
Right.
It's kind of like my memory.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think for me, Jared, I've only like really paid attention to the shorts program in the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, in as a younger man, it was a little more difficult to make the effort to see shorts. I feel like, especially when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So my immediate memory and recall of shorts in the past year only goes back about 3 years to like 2017.
I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. Which honestly, that was a year that I remember going into that one. I remember watching the live action documentary animation. I remember the live action shorts from that year I really liked because I felt like there was a unifying theme there of movies that were about dark subjects, but in the end, each one ended on a note of like there is hope in humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that was the year that there was I can just list the names here. There was The Silent Child from the UK, DeKalb Elementary from the US, The 11 O'Clock, which I think was Australia, My Nephew Emmett, and All of Us. And I'm now remembering them as I'm reading this too, because I remember the 11 O'Clock was like the Australian one about like the therapist session. It was the comedy.
Oh,
do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah,
it was like the one comedy that was in there, but like it was a good palate cleanser amongst all like, again, I'm gonna say heavy, but this was a year where like they were heavy but actually hopeful.
Okay,
which was like my big thing that year. But I like the two I remember most because I remember that was the year where Silent Child 1 and like looking back, I'm like, okay, yeah, that was obviously, even though I didn't really like that one, it was the more studio style kind of movie.
Sure.
But I remember like DeKalb Elementary was about a school shooter and then a person like calming this shooter down and like getting them to like stop what they were doing, which was like a heavy movie, but the end was like, oh my gosh, like this movie has hope in humanity.
Yeah. You're not miserable at the end of it, which some of those years, man, you were just like, okay, well, you look like sitting behind the counter and looking at the audience watching it. You're just like, oh, there's not a dry eye in this house right now. The eyes that are dry look a little miserable.
And I think something too. I think when I'm watching these shorts, and I think I'll just stick to live action now because now I'm thinking about subsequent years of live action. I think it was maybe last year's live action. I'm looking here real fast. It was live years live. Yes, with the Neighbor's Window one.
Okay.
And I remember like that was. I remember the collection of those movies. The first thought I got from watching The Neighbor's Window as a part of the collection, I thought, oh, that's the most film schooly one.
Right.
And the more I thought about it, I was like, it made sense that one won because it was the most like, here's a movie doing what everyone learns in film school are the right things to do, and like it's effective and it works.
Yeah.
It was just sort of like I don't want to say by the numbers because that feels a little reductive because it was good.
Right.
But like I could tell like there's a reason why the Academy likes this one.
There's years where that is the movie that wins, where you're like, oh, I know exactly why this won. I think like not short wise, but just narrative film wise, off the top of my head, like the years that like Green Book won or Crash won, you're like, oh, this movie was literally designed and built for this moment to win this award. Like every line of dialogue, every frame was shot in order to achieve this.
I think like every major filmmaker knows that there is an Academy style that can be adhered to if you want to make that kind of movie that is the kind that Academy voters like.
Right.
Of course, I mean like as the Academy is trying to make a big effort to actually change their voting body, though, like that could change over the next couple of years, decade or so. Like,
that's true. I don't know. We'll see. Like, I didn't sneeze. I almost did. I didn't want to like sneeze onto the microphone because then people listening would be like, "That got on me," and I didn't want it to get on them.
It would fit with your character, though, Jared.
Yeah, it really would. Did you ever see the short? It was in the 2014 live action shorts called The Butter Lamp.
No.
Okay. It's this. It's Chinese and French.
Ooh.
And it's all shot in like this one spot where people are getting their photos taken. It's people coming in front of a painted backdrop and getting their photos taken, and you're just like, oh, this is ridiculous to watch. Like, and then the painted backdrop lifts up at the end, and it's like the mountains of Nepal behind them, and it's like they're getting their photos taken in front of like just cheesy, I don't know, but it's like
that's funny.
You're standing in front of the most beautiful mountains in the world. I don't know.
I believe that.
That one, I've still to this day, I can't
that was
stop thinking about it.
That was a live action short. That was a documentary.
That was a live action short in 2014.
Interesting.
It did not win. The one that won that year was Sally Hawkins and Jim Broadbent did a short called The Phone Call, where she's a crisis hotline counselor, and he calls because he wants to kill himself.
I feel like I've maybe seen that one. It sounds kind of familiar.
That one took it that year. Yeah. There was I like the years where you're like, oh, I'm working, and so I have to watch these every day for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And you're not miserable having to rewatch them over and over.
It's nice, yeah. I like to say to my friends, I'm like, I shouldn't complain because for my job I literally get to watch movies.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can take a lot out of you because like you have to sit through stuff that's really, really heavy, and you don't have the emotional. You're emotionally exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah.
And so
completely.
you don't have anything to give the people in your life anymore because you're just done.
Or like when the lights come on and the audience is getting up, I hit a point like a couple weeks into that where I'm just like, you did it to yourself. Right. I'm not going to give you a tissue. I'm not going to hold you and talk to you about it afterwards.
The years were like, okay, specifically 2 years ago, the live action shorts, I remember I described basically them all as children in peril movies.
Yeah.
It was one of the heaviest years for the live action shorts. I remember like once I saw like I did like the first 2 or 3 days when those opened, and then people came into the theater and like were like asking like, oh, how are these movies? Like I was straight with them. Like I was like, guys, these movies are rough. They're heavy. Like if you want to stick around, like, or if you don't want to stick around, I don't blame you. And like I was telling people pretty straight, like these are heavy movies.
Yeah. Very.
And like that was a year where I remember the one that I really liked was a one take movie. It was the one called Mother. This is from again 2 years ago, and like mother gets a phone call, realizes her like son is lost somewhere, and so it's about her just like frantically on the phone because it's all shot from like inside her apartment. And so, like, the cameras are like following her around. It's like that was the one where the child in peril in question was all off screen, so I felt like it was much more bearable to
easier
watch.
To deal with. That was the narrative one.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember if I saw that one.
It was the first one that played in the order of the program. I think that was the same year where I think the one that won, called Skin, was the one about the white racist who gets kidnapped by the black gang and then they tattoo him.
Yeah. I did see that. That was pretty good.
It was. I remember watching that one and being like, this is a little like heavy-handed in its metaphor and stuff. But then I realized like, oh, Oscar voters like that.
Yeah, and it's also like it's weird too because if you're too subtle in a short, people will be like, you wasted your time in your short. You don't have time to be subtle.
Yeah, you got to go for the big.
Yeah. But then when you see a short that pulls off being subtle, you're like, oh my god, that's how that works. It's like when you read a short story that like melts your brain. You're like, oh, that melted my brain because they used every second of it perfectly.
Totally, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes when you see something that basically has like a full mastery of the craft, you don't even realize how good it is. And then when you try yourself to like sometimes shorts like that or like a short story or anything, you'll walk away and be like, oh, like man, I feel really inspired. I feel like I might try making something. And then you try and you realize like,
I am human. Yeah. I am human garbage.
Like, because like sometimes the stuff that like is so good, it seems like it's like that like it seems like it was effortless to make sometimes.
Yeah. That's like certain movies, man. You watch them and you're just like, God, that's. I mean, I hate the expression "lightning in a bottle," but like ultimately, you can see it sometimes. You really can. Like I was thinking the other day about Following, the first Christopher Nolan movie,
right?
And it's like you can just see his talent.
That movie. Okay. I definitely have. I'm going to use this opportunity to say a few things about Following, because like I feel like Following is a really good example of sometimes with certain directors or certain artists, but I'll say directors in particular. Sometimes you'll watch their very first movie that they made like on their own budget before they were anything, and you can see like their specific stylistic choices or their personal tics that they carry forward forever. And Following is one of those really good examples. Like you see Christopher Nolan's preferred artistic choices in that, like it's almost like the most distilled version of that.
Right.
And I think the reason why that happens is sometimes like when you're someone like Christopher Nolan making your first movie with your own money and like shooting on weekends with friends and think like, this is my one shot, so I'm gonna put. Yeah. If I only get it's basically Christopher Nolan saying, if I only get to make one movie, this is gonna be it.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw everything I can into this.
And so like I feel like sometimes watching first films are really fascinating because like you get to see like a director's artistic voice in its most distilled form.
Right. Like Pi. I mean,
that's
you see Aronofsky's in every frame of that movie, and then you can watch, Mother. Like that's his first movie, and you can watch Mother, his most recent movie, and you're like, that is obviously the same film.
Pi was the other one.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. All right, so we'll be back in a second, and we're going to keep talking about old Oscar shorts as well as a little bit of the new Oscar shorts. And be back in a second, everybody.
We'll have some short talk.
Short talk.
Short talk at Tin Pan Theater.
Hey folks, it's Todd here. I'm going to do a real quick ad in the middle of the episode. There's really just a few things. The most important is that, as said before, we are reopening at Tin Pan. That's going to be this Friday, April 2nd. We are showing the Oscar-nominated short films. That's the live-action, animation, and documentary. You can see the schedule all on our website and through Eventive, tinpantheater.com. Please, if you are interested in supporting us, we would love to see folks in person at the theater. But of course, at the same time, if you don't feel safe coming to the theaters, we still have all those programming online at tinpantheater.com to watch virtually as well. The other thing to mention is that we are doing a new series in the alleyway, replacing our ski nights. This coming Thursday is going to be the last ski night, and then the week after that, we're going to start doing a series of classic Japanese giant monster movies. So that's going to be every Thursday moving forward, probably for the next 8 weeks or so. If you've enjoyed those alley series, we encourage you to come out and still enjoy those. Those are really just the two big things. And again, thanks for listening, and we hope to see you around. Thanks, everybody. Okay.
Did you grow up with the cartoon called The Cat Came Back?
That sounds familiar.
I think it's like 5 or 6 minutes long. It's animated. It's a song, and it's like the cat came back the very next day. Like a cat that got killed and then kept not dying. Like it was like.
Oh, is it like a 9 Lives joke?
It's a 9 Lives joke, but it feels very, 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 very Tim Burton-y. 1988.
Nice.
Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. Anybody who has seen The Cat Came Back, please write to us, because I need somebody else who's seen this. I'm so alone.
Well, speaking of like animated movies that like you saw as a child that like you're not sure, like you're trying to hunt them down.
Right.
One that I always often remember. I think it's a adaptation of a Rupert Kipling.
Rudyard Kipling?
Rudyard Kipling?
Yeah.
Okay. But the Snake and the Weasel, or the
mongoose.
Yeah, the mongoose. It's animated by someone really famous.
Totally. Oh, that's gonna drive. Yeah. Holy crap!
Ricky Tikki-Tavi! That's it. Yes.
Oh, thank you, Sam. Thank you for that. We watched that in class. But somebody dies. Either the mongoose dies or the snake dies.
Something like that. I can't remember.
I remember that was like one of the first things I ever saw die. It was in Ricky Tikki-Tavi.
Right. Yeah, it was like one of those animated shorts that like we just had a VHS of in my house growing up.
Nice.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have shit like that where you're like, I remember this thing so specifically as a kid, and I don't know if it's just brain cells in my head dying or whether this is something that happened to me as a child?
All the time.
Okay. Yeah. I have a memory, and I don't want to Google it because I don't want to know if I'm crazy or not. But I remember Mr. Rogers coming into his house and, kicking off the shoes and going over and feeding the fish, and one of the fish being dead. And then him sitting down and having a whole episode about death. And then I also remember an episode where he got a parking ticket. Okay. He got a parking ticket and he had to go to court. And it was him being like, I was only gone for 15 minutes. It's like him in court with the judge. Okay, and I don't know if those are real memories or not.
The second one, feels like a little bit more outside of our reality.
Okay.
But the first one I feel like is something that happened.
Okay. All right. Because, man, those are in my brain.
I get it. Yeah. A couple years ago, I just started like making a list. Like every time I remembered a random movie memory from something, like I was like, I know this is a movie I saw as a kid, but I have no context for what it is. And I would just start Googling anything I could to figure out what the movie was.
Right.
And I started like finding these movies, and I just like compiled a list of like, these are all the movies that I just randomly saw as a kid that like certain images just like were burned into my brain.
Yeah.
And like, it was sort of like fascinating putting that list together. And like, I'll still get a few every now and then. I'm like, oh, that's one I still haven't figured out, and I'll try to like figure out what movie it is.
I remember there was a show on Nickelodeon when I was a kid that was about a department store that closed at night, and the mannequins came alive.
Oh my God.
And there was a lady in a jumpsuit that worked there, and there was like a guy that looked like it was an actor in a dog costume with like big floppy ears. and it exists. Like, it's a real show. I looked it up, and it was called I want to say it was something Express. I think I'm gonna have to look it up again, but. Yeah, those memories, man, where you're like...
It's fascinating.
It's really messed up. If you want to go down the rabbit hole really hard, they've added almost the entire old school database of Nickelodeon shows to Paramount Plus.
Oh, boy.
So, like, it's got every episode ever of, like, you can't do that on television. And all of that, like, family... Or, yeah, the...
Like the slime shows?
The slime show. Like, all of that is on there now.
Oh,
it's insane.
Man, Generation Z is gonna look back and be like, what were you guys like?
Yeah,
millennials. What was the stuff that you grew up on?
Dude, yeah, like what? Like, well, now we get why our parents are idiots. Yeah, the show is called Today's Special, by the way.
Oh boy,
Just I was obsessed with it.
All right, Jared, you want to talk about the things we actually need to talk about? Oh
yeah, that was fun though. I liked talking about.
We can decide later if we want to keep that in or not. We'll see.
Yeah. So, wait, you were talking about what were you talking about?
Okay. I wanted to just like mention some of the animated shorts from the last couple of years.
Totally.
Because like one in particular from 2017 was when Kobe Bryant became an Academy Award winner because the Oscar short that he wrote and narrated was the one that won that year.
Right.
Which
is insane.
I mean, obviously it's sad that Kobe Bryant is no longer with us, but I'm also sad that I can't make I still can make the joke of like Academy Award winner Kobe Bryant.
Right.
Like I want to refer to him continually as Academy Award winner Kobe Bryant.
Yeah. Not basketball player.
No.
Academy Award winner.
Academy Award winner. And like I think that was a year where like it should have been obvious that like Oscars would like love to vote for a Kobe Bryant short.
Right.
Because I remember like leading up to their actual ceremony, I was like, I don't think that one's gonna do it. But then when it did, it was like, actually,
of course it did.
He's the big name. Like,
yeah.
Oscar voters definitely love big names like that.
They want to seem cool.
They want to tell their kids like, I'm like 1 degree of separation removed from Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
kids.
yeah. Hey Brian, guess who I met at the Oscars tonight? Who, Dad? Kobe Bryant. No way. And you're like, yeah. But I mean,
I'll get him to sign, some shoes for you or something.
Yeah, I didn't talk to him. I was nervous.
I mean, to give a quick shout out to my favorite podcast like it's 1999.
And who are they following on Twitter now?
Oh, I think they're following Jared.
They are. They're following me on Twitter now.
Oh my god, I am so delighted about that.
We drunkenly tweeted them late last night, and they responded right away.
Phil,
within moments.
Phil, Kenny, if you guys would be so nice as to have us on at some point, I would have a hard time believing that it would actually happen. But I feel like Jared maybe has more potential than me to be on their show.
I'll be like, hey, can I bring Todd on? And they're like, does Todd have anything to do with the last Blockbuster? And I'll be like, he lives in the town with the last Blockbuster.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Looking back though at I was gonna say though that something they said on podcasts like 1999 recently. Kenny was saying how everyone in Hollywood just wants to be cool at the end of the day, and so that makes a lot of sense why the Kobe Bryant short would win that year. It's like Academy voters like they want to vote like that. That makes the Academy seem real cool,
right?
To have cool. the Kobe Bryant one win that year. I'm trying to now remember some of the animated shorts from the following year was the Bow short from Pixar, the one that played before Incredibles 2 about the Bow that comes to life.
Yeah. Okay.
Which like fucking like what a great short. Like
They don't play around. They don't play around. They really don't.
And that was also the same year with the animal behavior short about the animals that are all in group therapy.
Oh my god, that one was adorable.
That one was so fun. I had a lot of fun watching that
one.
Good.
Really good.
And then what was last year's animation shorts? I
don't think I saw them last year.
Oh, there was like Hair Love, which was the one about the dad like learning to basically like do his daughter's the black family where like the dad is like learning how to do his daughter's hair.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I ended up watching that way afterwards.
It was one of those shorts that just like got a lot of press.
Right.
And like it made sense that like it won. Like, and it totally should have. And then now I'm thinking, do I even want to talk about documentary shorts because they're always heavy?
Dude, I just want to talk a little bit about so I work.
Go for it.
So I was working here in 2014 and in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And those 2 years, both years in a row, both of those years, the short lineup ended up being somewhere around 3 hours long.
Yep, that's what happens.
Because the maximum limit for a short is 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And I think almost all of them were like between 30 and 40 minutes long. Like it was a big chunk of time.
And the documentary section is where that most likely happens.
Right.
Like
because you want to like. I don't think anybody goes into. Maybe they do, but I wouldn't think anybody goes into filming a documentary thinking that it's gonna be a short.
Totally.
Like I think you go into a documentary thinking
it's gonna be
shooting a feature. Yeah,
that's fair.
So all of them have a lot of footage. I would imagine.
And so it's just like it comes down to because every documentary has hours and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, and so it's it's what they eventually edit down to, and sometimes they might just realize, oh, the best narrative through line we have is something that maybe only lasts like 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is the story we could pull out of it. So in 2014, back many years ago, here at Tin Pan, we could start a movie for the audience and then leave while it was playing and then come back, 5 or 10 minutes before it ended and be ready to turn the lights back on and everything. So I will never forget. It was snowy outside, dead of winter. For some reason, there was still snow on the ground. It was March, I think. No. It was December because we used to get the Oscar shorts in January.
I feel like I don't know what happened those years that you were working, but I feel like generally they come out right before the actual Oscars, which is like February or March.
Like okay. I just remember there was snow, and
we get heavy snow in February. March
that's true. So it was completely sold out, and started the movies, and I was like, well, I'm not going to sit through this because the 5 shorts that year, the first one was called Crisis Hotline Veterans Press 1, and the whole thing was it was about the toll taken on the people manning veteran crisis hotlines.
Oh boy.
So that one was literally just a gut punch for like 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was called Joanna, which was a Polish documentary about a Polish woman with 3 months to live, and it's following her over the last 3 months while she's trying to spend as much time with her husband and son as possible.
Got it.
So the third one, Our Curse, is a kid who had it was about a kid called Leo who had Ondine's curse, it's called, which was this really rare genetic disorder. It's really disturbing and just I don't even want to talk about it. And then White Earth, which was this town in South Dakota where people were moving to try to get work that were all starving and broke.
Yeah.
And then the final one was called La Parka, which means the Reaper. And it was about a guy who was celebrating his, I believe, his 100,000th bull killing because he worked in a slaughterhouse and he kills 500 a day, 6 days a week for 25 years.
Oh, man.
So, anyway, all of the movies were the roughest they could possibly be. Yep. Every single one.
Yep.
So I would start the movie and then I would leave and then I would come back 10 or 15 minutes before the movie would end and we'd be empty. It would get a full 100% walkout from people.
It's because
they're just
they get heavy.
But they were so, all of them were so artistically and beautifully done, but my God, they were brutal. And then the year after that was the Body Team 12 and The Girl in the River, and just I don't know.
Yeah, heavy stuff. I mean, okay.
Very, very intense.
And I will say, like, going into this year, if you are someone who knows that you want to watch documentaries, like, I think generally the idea is you just gotta know you know what you're getting into.
Right.
Because honestly, like, it can still be fun to actually watch these shorts and decide what you think is gonna win, and you want to be able to watch Oscar night and be able to know what they're talking about when they talk about the shorts.
Right.
Speaking of the animated shorts this year,
yes,
we want to talk a little bit about those because I think most likely those are the ones that most people are going to see.
Right.
So yeah, if you're going to come down, I think to see anything at Tin Pan or watch online, you're going to watch the animated shorts this year.
Right.
Like we said, there's one from like Pixar and Disney.
Right.
There's one from France that's kind of more of an experimental one. I should actually read the names of them probably.
So the Pixar one was Burrow, right?
Yes, Burrow.
Yeah. And that one's available on Disney Plus.
Yes,
right.
You can watch it on Disney Plus as well. But if you'd like to support us, you can always watch through our website or come in person. We'd really appreciate it.
We really would.
Then the French one after that is Genius Loki. There's also If Anything Happens, I Love You, which is I don't even want to spoil what that one's about because I think it's worth it just to go in for that one.
Yeah.
Then there's Opera, which is from South Korea and the U.S., which is a super visually stunning, very experimental movie.
It blew our minds a little bit while we were watching it.
Yeah. And then Yes People from Iceland, which is Yes People is definitely one of those just like cute, fun. Like it's got a lot of good visual jokes.
Yeah,
which is
moment
great.
Moment in the life of like a group of people that all live next to each other.
Yeah. I will say, I think the one that's most likely going to win, I think, is If Anything Happens, I Love You.
I agree.
Which, again, I know for our listeners, the fact that we're not saying exactly what happens might be a little frustrating. I think the best way to talk about it is, like, it's definitely one of those movies that it uses its animation really well to communicate its ideas visually without having to rely on dialogue, and it touches on very timely themes, very, like, emotional themes. But yeah, I think it's definitely one that the best experience is to go in not knowing what to expect about it.
That was the thing that I thought was really interesting about this entire slate of animated films this year, is that aside from Genius Loki, all 5 movies have no dialogue whatsoever.
Right.
Even Yes People is...
It uses gibberish.
Yeah, it's Charlie Brown parents, voices for everyone. Which I think is kind of starting to become like... I don't want to say a gimmick, but it's becoming a thing in animated shorts where they're like, we want to communicate this through music or imagery or whatever, and not dialogue.
I feel like animation. I feel like there is the. I feel like animators, I think, feel that, I don't want to say pressure, but there is more often than not a sense that, like, in animation you can communicate your ideas visually and don't rely on dialogue.
Right.
And so I feel like it makes sense that I expect to sometimes see that more in the animated shorts to not see dialogue heavy.
It feels normal. Like, it doesn't feel like a contrived, let's try to make something 4 minutes long with no dialogue. Like, it seems like something that grows out of the telling, like them being silent, as opposed to starting from that point and working backwards.
Totally.
But it was a lovely group of movies. Like, it really was.
Yeah, it was really good. I
liked
really
every single one.
Really liked the animated shorts.
Yeah, Opera absolutely is stunning though. Like, we could watch that 50 times.
Yeah, it was
something different.
Yeah, it was one that there was just so much visual information. Like, it was kind of hard to know what exactly to look at when you're watching it.
And Genius Loki is very abstract, very absurd. I would say absurdist.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Really, really bizarre. And then If Anything Happens, I Love You is the one that's gonna touch your heart.
Yeah. I think so.
I liked them a lot.
So again, I say if you see any of them, I would say see the animated shorts program. I did get a chance to see the live action ones. I think they're also very good and not too heavy, which is great. Again, if you're someone who likes coming to see the Oscar shorts, I don't think you'll be disappointed this year.
So you saw all 5 of the live action.
I did.
I saw 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite of the ones you saw? Of all of them?
I think my personal favorite was I think Two Distant Strangers.
Okay.
Which is and it's one that, like, was able to talk about very timely things and kind of do it in a way that was fun and inventive.
Nice.
And also had a bit of a hopeful, or maybe not hopeful, but like there is like it wasn't a complete downer. Like there was a sense of like there's still like work to be done. Kind of. Then the letter room with Oscar Isaac was also very good.
It was like so. I saw that one, and I saw the Present.
The Present, yeah.
And I liked both of them a lot. Present's a little bit contrived, but not very. Like it feels very authentic.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's all of like the messages and what all the movies are about are very strong. Right. I think Present is the only one that like its filmmaking, the actual filmmaking itself feels a little more to be desired. Right. But like it's so minuscule that like I don't really want to knock against it necessarily by any means.
The letter, is it the letter carrier?
The letter room.
The letter room. I thought because some of those shorts they kind of get overshadowed when somebody massively famous is starring.
Yeah.
And Oscar Isaac is the star of this one, and my God, he just sinks into this character.
Yeah, like, luckily he's behind a big mustache, which I love big mustaches in actors sometimes, and he looks great in it.
Do you think it was a real gut, or do you think that he had a fake gut on?
I would hope that he put in the effort to get a real gut.
Yeah, that'd be odd. Yeah, he has a gut tucked in, like ugly belt, like the whole thing. Yeah, it's beautiful.
He looks like a real blue collar kind of person.
Yeah, and he was doing like almost like a Puerto Rican, because it was on the East Coast, right? I think it was supposed to be New York,
something like that.
Yeah. Like a very like East Coasty like accent where you're like, I don't know what accent you're doing, but you don't seem like.
I feel like I wonder if it's like one of those accents where like he kind of like was kind of like doing an impression of like maybe like an uncle or something, like one of his own family members. Like I'm gonna use this voice that like someone I know has.
It almost reminded me of like Benicio del Toro and The Usual Suspects. How he came in and he was like, "So I'm just gonna talk like this," and Bryan Singer was like, "I love it. Can you make it even harder to hear?"
Right.
He was like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah. I think the shorts are great this year. Highly recommend them. Please come into our theater to see them.
Do you think we'll end up talking about the documentary shorts in a later episode?
Hopefully. Yeah. I think it'll depend on. Honestly, it'll depend on because we're gonna watch them in the coming weeks as they play.
Right.
And I think we'll get a sense of whether we feel like they're really worth talking about, because it's possible that the documentary shorts might be super heavy and maybe we don't want to talk about them.
That's a good point.
Well, at the very least, you will hear our opinions on them in coming episodes.
Right, especially when we do the live stream of the Oscars. We'll definitely talk about which ones we're rooting for and everything like that.
Yeah.
So we will definitely have seen. I am going to try for my first time ever to see literally 100% of everything.
This is the year that it is most possible.
It feels the most possible this year. Like I've already seen 7 of the 8 Oscar nominees, or 6 of the 7, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can do it this year. They're all really easy to track down, which is nice.
Yes, you can watch them all from home right now. It's great.
Pretty much.
All right, should we wrap this up? Sam, how long have we been recording this time? This is a long one, isn't it? Nice. Not too bad.
Perfect. Right in the pocket.
You're right in the pocket. All right, everybody. So Small Town Film Ghost is a production of BendFilm and Tin Pan Theater.
Damn right it is.
Recorded right at Tin Pan Theater here in Bend, Oregon.
Yeah.
It is co-hosted and created and directed and written by, me, you, and Julie. Yeah, we can say that.
And Sam is our engineer.
Yeah, our sound engineer, editor, and audio jack of all trades that makes this podcast possible. It's Sam Schmidt. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you so much.
He's bowing his head in approval.
It was nice. I felt like I haven't had anybody bow to me in a while.
I know,
Felt good.
If you enjoy our show, please like, subscribe, and comment.
What is it? What do they say now?
Smash
that like button. Yeah.
Smash that subscribe button.
That's what. Yeah. Do that.
And please keep supporting BendFilm and Tin Pan if you like what we're doing. We got new stuff coming up. We got a new Alley series coming up. We're going to be showing some of the classic Japanese kaiju movies in the alleyway.
We really
really looking forward to that. And then of course we are opening back up. So please come and patronize us.
And I've got literally and figuratively come in and be patronizing while patronizing us. Also, I'm booking stuff for the next few months at the theater, and there's going to be a lot of really exciting stuff coming up that I think people, especially our audience for Tin Pan, is really going to love to see here.
Hey, Jared. Also, how high is The Last Blockbuster trending on Netflix right now?
It was number 4 last time I checked.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Cool.
I haven't looked today or yesterday.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, I don't. Like that first week I was looking a lot, but this week I backed away from it because I actually canceled my YouTube or my Facebook for like for 3 or 4 days because it was literally dozens and dozens of friend requests all day every day. It was weird. It got a little too much.
No, I believe it. Yeah. You got to take time for you.
I just needed some me time. You can't be famous all day long every day.
You can't be famous all day long. Yeah. I don't want to be famous. It doesn't sound fun.
It wasn't great. Like I just literally was mildly famous for 2 weeks and it sucked. I did not enjoy it. Got a lot of weird messages. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
My name's Todd Leiser.
Jared Rassick.
Bye-bye.